Hello students, and welcome to the next lesson in our AS level psychology course. Today we're going to be looking at emotional focused methods of coping with stress. What are emotional focused ways to cope with stress? These are also psychological methods of coping with stress that we can use, just like that of stress inoculation training that we looked at in our last video. They regulate the emotional response of a person to a particular stressor which can cause them stress. Those are three main strategies that someone can use that are involved with this emotional focused way to cope with stress. The first of which is going to look at how we can turn someone from being very stressed into less stressed and more happy. And these are defense mechanisms. These are ways for a person to block out the stress or its symptoms from psychological barriers. So the first of which can be denial. Here someone denies the stress that they're receiving and as a result tries to block it away and not feel it by telling themselves that it's not there. Also, you can undergo intellectualization, where someone explains the stress to themselves and convinces themselves that it's not that important compared to everything else that's going on. So as a result, by denying the stress, you're going to make it go away, and by changing the way pretty much that you're going to view the stress and convince yourself that it's not important, you're not going to be able to be as stressed as you were before, hence reducing the levels of stress. Reappraisal of the situation involves when someone changes the way they think about the stress to limit its consequences. This is the very first part of the first step of stress inoculation training, and here perhaps the way you can change the way you think of stress is using it to improve the way you perhaps work and as a form of motivation, as opposed to the fact that it may harm you. So by changing the way you think about the stress, you can say, by being stressed, this is going to motivate me to revise everything. However, instead of looking at stress as something negative, which is going to make me not feel very well. You can also undergo arousal reduction. Here the person limits their levels of arousal, which then as a result isn't going to let them become even more stressed. When someone is stressed, they become more aroused, which leads to even more stress, and it's a vicious circle which leads to even more. If they limit their arousal, hence they're going to limit their stress, and as a result they're not going to be able to be affected by the symptoms. So just by calming down, you're going to reduce stress. Here are some questions on the emotional focused ways to deal with stress. As always, answer these on another sheet of paper by pausing the video and then hit play whenever you're ready to see the answers. Here are the answers. If you got these right, congratulations. I'd advise you to move on to the next video, which will be on physiological methods to cope with stress management, for example with the use of drugs. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you then. Goodbye.